Hi guys, this is Sona. If you're new to me, definitely hit that subscribe button below, hit the bell notification so you know when I'm doing new videos. Excuse me. Today I want to talk about insecurity. Insecurity is a habit you can break. You can just break this insecurity. You can. And this is something I wrote about, but I'm gonna ask you a question first. Do you sometimes feel insecure? I know I do. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I do feel insecure. I may not come off as insecure, but I do come off as insecure. I can be insecure. Maybe it's about your looks, your relationship, or your career path. Whatever it is, rest assured that you're not alone. Everyone feels some form of insecurity at some point, and it's totally universal and it's totally completely normal. Even though the most confident person you know has some point felt insecure. I just told you, I do have moments of insecurity myself. Um, the nature of life and the constant change that brings means fear of the unknown. And I just mentioned this in my last video. Frustration or doubt are bound to come up for all of us. Insecurity, in some ways, is a normal response to the chaos of life. And right now, during COVID-19, we're going through a lot of chaos. However, it can be also very toxic and destructive force that one leads to self-criticism, judgment, and unhappiness. If insecurity is affecting the way you live, it is important to look at the unconscious ways you may be giving it power to stick around and claim your happiness. One of the most detrimental things you can believe about yourself in your life that you're stuck. Guys, I remember when my mom died 2018 and I felt so stuck without her. And I have to say, I was dependent on her because started my day with her. I ended my day. I talked to her throughout the day. And I felt stuck because I didn't even know what to do. And I disappeared off of YouTube too. I just couldn't. I was stuck. I felt like I was so stuck. Um, and it could be whether that be stuck in a habit or way of being or old thought patterns. The truth is, we are all capable of changing the things we don't like. Don't believe me? Think about how incredible our brains are. We have something in the realm of 70,000 thoughts a day, and nearly 90% of them are exactly the same thoughts we had the day before. Think about what that implies. All those thoughts are going around and around the same hardwired patterns of repetition to serve a created, fixed, internalized way of seeing the world. This is the reason why I don't watch the news. I'm limiting my time on social media. Uh, and it's actually made a difference, especially because this month here in September, I decided to take charge of my health and my mental health, especially in the field of neuroscience. This is the idea that our brains hold imprints of every single experience, trauma, thought, action, behavior we've ever had. Insecurity may have begun for you in your childhood. Perhaps you were raised in difficult circumstances and suffered emotionally or physically at a young age. That was me. I was physically, emotionally, mentally abused. When I got married, I was mentally, emotionally, and financially abused. I have suffered so many traumas. You may have experienced a relationship difficulties, betrayal, have been a child of divorce, even experienced your own divorce, and so on. And I am divorced. And I tell you, my divorce did not go well. And I tell you, even after we divorced, he still caused issues for me. We don't even speak because he's toxic. It's funny how he sends messages through my son, and which is totally fine. And I told my son, limit your interaction with him because he's toxic. But I'm not telling you to stay away from your father, not at all. But if you want to be successful, you want to hang around successful people. As we embark on life's journey, which life is not easy, Even small events have lingering effects over the years, become internalized and built on as part of the negative thought patterns. Whatever the reasons, it is important to look at and understand where the insecurity has become a frequent emotional state for you. We tend to condition ourselves towards repeating familiar thoughts and feelings when similar situations arise again and remind us or trigger emotional memories of those past experiences. This is conditioning is what creates those patterns of thought in the brain. The good news is that you can teach yourself to transform those negative patterns and unlearn those bad habits. Let me tell you an experience, and I actually mentioned this in another video where I was allowing somebody to help me out with one of my downlines because I have several multi-level marketing companies that I work with, and the person basically placed them under them, which benefits them more than it does benefit me. And it just wasn't cool the way he did that and didn't tell me. I had to find out after the fact. So that was a trigger for me. But then I triggered him because I told him. I didn't sit back and just chill and let that shit happen. I told him, I said, you know what? I don't give a fuck about the money. It's all about strategic building. I said, but you know what? That's cool. You can do whatever you want to do. So let me tell you the thoughts of releasing insecurity for good. And like I said, it still will come up, but you're not always insecure. Drop in is number one. Become very aware when you feel a sense of insecurity and teach yourself to stop in that moment and acknowledge what's happening. Sit with the feeling instead of acting upon it. Recognize why it happened for you and check in with yourself. Great thing about practicing this is you learn to connect deeply with your true self and you're growing self-knowledge and learning to sit peacefully with the feeling rather than reacting to it impulsively. Number two, change that thought. And the moment you feel insecure about the question, the thought that leads you there is it actually true? Can you turn into an opposite? For example, if you're feeling a lack of self-worth in the moment, can you ask yourself in what ways, in fact, you are worthy? Are you feeling unconfident and question what unique ways are a fact that you're a confident person? Your brain will find the evidence for you. And let me talk about your brain for a minute. If you ever went on the internet, went on Google and asked Google a question, and you've asked Google a stupid question, Google's gonna come up with all kinds of doggone answers. Or you ask that straight, direct question, you're gonna still have solutions, and then you're gonna be drawn to the actual one that you feel is right. Your brain is the same way. Your brain is like fucking Google. If you ask it a stupid question, it's gonna give you a stupid answer. If you're gonna ask it a direct question, it's gonna give you a direct answer. So, making a conscious effort to turn that negative thought on its head is an amazing way to break out of the old cycle. Turn down your inner critic and turn up your inner cheerleader. Guys, I have to be my cheerleader. At times when I can't reach out to my coach, because I ain't gonna lie, she's been my cheerleader from day one when we started working together. And this is also why you need a coach. You need a mentor. You know, a lot of people spend more on their pets than they spend on themselves. And I tell you, when you have someone to call you on your shit and helps you stop these when you have somebody working with you to stop these old patterns and these old habits and all this trauma and all this stuff, suffering, and how to deal with this trauma that's coming up for you, you should have a mentor. It doesn't have to be me. It has to be someone. And then, you know what? A lot of people's like, well, I can't afford a coach. How do you know if you haven't reached out to that person and find out how much they charge? And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. When you want something, you'll make a way to get it. If you want that Gucci bag, you will make that way to get it. So there's no excuse. Okay, so let's get back to this. I'm gonna reread this again. If you're insecure about yourself in some aspect of your life or just accepting it as how you are, you think you could take some small actions to make some changes. If you always feel needy or vulnerable in relationships, try to doing the things that make you feel stronger, more confident, independent. If you get overwhelmed by new people and social situations, practice going out of your comfort zone each day. Perhaps take an initiative to call someone to meet up or speaking someone at a gathering. Well, I wouldn't advise that now because we have COVID, but you could always do a Zoom call with somebody new. You can always call them up. So that's an excuse. That's not an excuse. Excuse me, sorry, I burped. I haven't even eaten yet. When you practice these new actions, you are challenging your old familiar patterns that cause new pathways in your brain to light up. Speak to yourself with love. Try this exercise every day. Look in the mirror, find 3 positive things to say about yourself. You can also do this with a partner. Look at each other in each other's eyes and tell each other what you love about the other, either in the morning or even, or feel free to write it in your journal about the positive things in your life and your appreciation and gratitude for them. Gratitude is such an important part of happy life that you can retrain your mind to look for the positive things. And when you do, you will pull away those layers of insecurity you've been used to and boost your self esteem. It does take some effort to stop your cycles of negative thinking and practice turning your thoughts around. But once you gather the momentum in this way, you will find a natural ease about it. New ways of thinking will eventually light up different neural pathways in your brain, making it easier to differently think differently until you have established entirely new patterns of thought. Believing your mind is capable of change is half the battle won. When you know that you do not have to remain in the old ways of being, you are opening up yourself to change, and the universe will work with you, leading you to leading you towards positive and a fresh new outlook. So I hope that was helpful for you. Um, I know it has been for me, and I tell you, I'm blessed and fortunate to have a coach when I do forget, because I'm not gonna lie, I got so much going on right now. I reach out to her and say, hey, I got a 911 moment. And she's right there and she's reeling me back in. So I hope it helps. Um, Again, if you're new, definitely hit that subscribe button below. Hit the bell notification so you know when I'm doing new videos. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.